In the multitude of counsel, there is safety. Welcome to the All Things Done podcast, a vision inspired by the truth found in God's Word and designed to inform, educate, and impact you in every way. My name is Akintunde, and I am your host. Join us as we embark on a journey to becoming a better version of ourselves. Okay, everyone, welcome to another lovely Saturday where we get to learn what it is to become a better version of ourselves. And today we are considering the topic self-leadership and management. And I am your host, Akintunde. And today I have with me a guest who will be speaking with us on the topic leadership and management. Our guest is actually Mr. Gbenga Samuel. Mr. Gbenga Samuel is a leadership coach, a speaker, and an author with particular interest in helping emerging leaders own their leadership skills and thus become effective leaders. He is a certified John Maxwell trainer and a leadership coach that has really organized a lot of certification courses for people, including corporate organizations, which has helped them, to become better versions of themselves. And today we are privileged to have him on this podcast today, sharing with us tips and techniques that can really help us become better leaders and inspire the leadership in us. And welcome, Mr. Gbenga Samuel. Very delighted to have you today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm also excited to be here.
All right. So we're just going to dive right in. Today we are talking about self-leadership and management. And, it's very essential to understand why do we need to have leadership skills? Why exactly is leadership very necessary for, everyone or for young people, in particular?
Yeah, thank you so much, Akintunde. I think that leadership skills and values are very important for young people to embrace from an early age because those skills will position them to be problem solvers in the society, not people who would only talk about the problem or complain about the problem, but people who would step up to solve problems in their society. And all across the world, there is a dire need for leaders. We need leaders that can step up to the plate and provide important and great solutions to the problems we face, both as a community and as a society at large. So it's very important for young people to start developing a leadership culture from an early age that positions them to serve. I like to share my leadership story because I got the opportunity to embrace leadership from an early age. I was a student at Badminton Macaulay Junior Seminary, which is a secondary school owned by the African Diocese, and I happened to be part of the first set of that school. And so from my second year in secondary school, I was already made a prefect. I was made a chapel prefect, and that brought with it lots of responsibility. I had to prepare the assembly ground every weekday for assembly. I had to learn how to set up a sound system. I had to learn how to lead other students and prepare them for the assembly. And just that singular opportunity to serve from a very early age helped me to embrace the act of leadership and responsibility. So I think it's very important for young people. What you find is that once young people can have the right mindset about leadership, which is simply service, which is simply influencing others positively, then they can embrace it from an early age and they have an opportunity to grow and position themselves for greatness.
Wow, awesome perspective. So when we talk about leadership and we sometimes it can be contrasted with management. Is there any difference between leadership and and managing people or management?
All right, thank you for that question. Yes, a lot of times people kind of talk about leadership and think that managing and leadership are the same thing. What I would say to that is managing people is an aspect of your leadership. So if you're going to lead, you're going to always have to work with people. You can't lead in isolation. John Maxwell says that the law of significance says that one is too small a number to make a difference. Meaning that if you're going to lead, you're going to have to work with people, you're going to have to deal with people, and which is where you then require a skill called managing. And in doing that, you would have to manage people. So I would say that they are completely two different things. When you talk about leadership, you're talking about influencing other people, you're talking about navigating for others, creating a vision and helping people achieve a set goal or target. But then when it comes to management, that is an aspect, that's a very important aspect of leadership, because you always need people. Again, I mean, John Maxwell is my leadership mentor. He says that if you claim to be leading, but no one is following, then you're only taking a stroll. So if you're unable to manage people and work effectively with people, then ultimately it will affect your leadership.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir, for that beautiful answer. I took note of something during this answer you just gave, which is that, you talked about the fact that when you're a leader, right, you're meant to carry other people along. It requires you to relate with people. And then, this question came to my mind. If a person is an introvert, and that by definition again means that they would rather want to be on their own and not relate with people. At least they don't like people to be in their business. How can a person who have that personality type, how can they relate with people? How can they begin to cultivate leadership skills and begin to position themselves such that even with that personality trait, they are still able to lead other people and influence other people?
All right, thank you for that, and I think that's so important. But just to make an additional comment on your last question as to the difference between leadership and management.
Okay.
I mean, a leadership expert once said that to know how to do a job is the accomplishment of labor. To be available to tell others is the accomplishment of the teacher. To inspire others to do better work is the accomplishment of management and managing others. But to be able to do all three is the accomplishment of true leaders. In other words, leaders can do the job themselves, they can teach others, they can inspire others to do better work by managing people, and they themselves can inspire the whole organization to achieve its set goal. So just to again buttress the fact that leadership management is a subset of leadership, but for you to be, you can be a manager and not be a leader. That's the interesting part of it. You can have a positional leadership of being a manager, but not have the values and ethics of a leader. All right. So talking about an introverted leader, yes, I mean there are different kinds of people with different orientations when it comes to their interaction with other people. But what's interesting is that every leader has to grow when it comes to their relationship with other people. Whether you're an introvert or you're an extrovert or an ambivert, you always have to grow your leadership, because what we must realize here is that it's not really about you, the leader, it's about the people. Because your most appreciable asset when it comes to leadership, it's not really you, it's the people. And so my advice for someone who is an introvert would be, one, you need to value people. Value the people that you work with. And that's an issue of your attitude. You need to understand that the people that you lead play a very important role in your success as a leader. So you must value people. And regardless of your disposition when it comes to your personality type, when you value people, you would be willing to go the extra mile to help develop them. Okay. Number two, you must be committed to the people that you lead. And that's an issue of time, making out time to make them feel special, make them feel loved, make them feel appreciated, and make them feel that they are really part of a great work. So to an introvert, you might have to do a lot of extra work to communicate to the people that you lead that you really value them, because naturally you like to keep to yourself, or you're not outspoken, or you have these things in your heart, or you might not be able to communicate to them. So yes, you might have to do an extra work to develop yourself in that regard.
Well, thank you very much, sir. That was very phenomenal. Okay, so let's look at the mindset of a leader. When a leader is seated, what is the cognitive process? What exactly goes on in their mind? Does their mindset function when we contrast, and how can we contrast this with the mindset of a follower, somebody who just wants to, take instructions and do whatever he or she is told? What is the difference between them?
Again, that's an interesting question. I think that the basic difference between a leader and a follower is that quest in the heart of the leader to solve problems. That desire, that innate desire to solve problems. So when a leader faces a challenge or a problem, the basic difference with a follower is that leader is immediately not complaining, not grumbling, is looking for a solution. The other person who is not a leader doesn't know what to do, needs direction, doesn't have that heart to come up with a solution, doesn't even have the attitude to come up with a solution. But the instinctive nature of a leader is to solve problems, not to complain about them, not to argue about them, but to find a solution. And in doing that, it mobilizes other people, sells the vision to other people, encourages them, navigates for them, shows them the way, and ultimately takes responsibility for solving that problem.
Wow. A quick question on this, and I feel like this will probably be buzzing in the minds of any of our audience that is listening, at whatever time they are listening. Can anybody be a leader?
Yes, I believe that anyone can learn the required leadership skills and values and become a leader. There's been this question about, are leaders born or are they made? And in a very casual way, John Maxwell says that both ways, leaders are born because they have to be born first before they can be made. But you see, yes, you have people who are born with natural instincts or leadership abilities. I would say so. There are people like that who naturally have a leadership instinct and is skilled to lead. However, everyone still needs to develop their leadership potential. Okay? Even if you have that natural ability to lead, you need to keep growing. You need to keep learning, especially when it comes to working with other people, dealing with people, and winning with people. So yes, some leaders are born with a natural ability to lead, but I would say that everyone still needs to grow their leadership potential.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. That's very good. I want to talk a little bit about communication process between leaders and followers. How do you advise upcoming leaders, especially young people, or even people who are setting up their businesses? There's a teenager out there who has his teammates in school or his schoolmates to lead and guide. What is the best way to communicate your vision to help these people understand that yes, I am not here to dictate, to be a dictator, to be an authoritarian, but rather I am here to work together with you. How is it that a person can effectively communicate their point? What is the function of words in leadership?
All right, so again, remember I said that you can't say you lead if you don't have people you're leading, right? Yes. So what I would say to leaders like that, or young leaders who may struggle with getting people on board or communicating their vision to them, is that they must realize that people buy into the leader first before they buy into his or her leadership. And I'll just say that again for emphasis. People buy into the leader first before they buy into his or her leadership, or his or her project, or his or her vision. Okay? So too often we expect people to be loyal to the position of the leader, or to the vision of the leader, or to the business of the leader, instead of the person who occupies that position. See, organizational charts do not motivate people. Organizational visions and objectives and goals do not motivate people. People respond to other people. If the people you're leading do not buy into you, they may struggle buying into your vision of following you. So the first thing a leader must declare is not authority because of rights, but authority because of relationship, because of connection, because of care, because of what that leader has done to build a connection with the people that he or she is leading. Because again, people do not care how much you know, or they do not care how big your vision is until they really know that you care for them. So you've got to give loyalty down before you can receive loyalty up. You've got to that leader who is willing to give first before you demand that others give back to you. Because if people do not believe in you as their leader, anything will hinder them from following. So if people believe in the leader, nothing will stop them. Then it becomes very easy. If they do not believe in you, it will hinder them. But if they believe in you as people, then nothing really will stop them.
That is very beautiful, sir. You've said it very, very well. Thank you very much, sir, for that. I want to talk about digital leadership now. We are in the world where most of our communications, most of our friends are now on online. We interact with people virtually, we lead virtually, even whether by living as examples or in whatever way. Using yourself as a case study now, I want you to talk about how can we harmonize technology to help us lead people effectively.
All right, that's a very interesting perspective, because yes, pre-COVID, maybe we won't be having this kind of conversation, but yes, this is part of what COVID has done, meaning that the table has changed. You now have to lead people, sometimes people that you can't even see. And I think what it brings to the fore is the need for more emotional intelligence for leaders. Because now you in a virtual meeting with people that you haven't seen for a long time, you don't know the state of their mind, you don't have the opportunity for face contact and to assess and see how the body language and all of that. So I think that leaders today, what technology has done is to remind us and of the need to retool and to be more emotionally intelligent with the people we're leading. Because again, part of the impact of COVID on leadership and on individuals globally really is people may be more stressed. People may be going through things that you don't know about. People may be have some form of emotional baggage. And so leaders must be more sensitive. Leaders must be more accommodating. And leaders must pay attention to the people that they lead. I'm talking about myself as a case study. I would say that because of the organization that I work with, during the heat of COVID, we really had to work from home. We're back to the office now, but we had to work from home for an extended period. And that impacted on leadership, because again, you're leading people that you really can't see. But for me, part of what I did was to first touch base with the people I was leading. I wanted to know how they were faring. I wanted to know that they were fine. I wanted to know that if they needed any form of support, I could be there for them. And that's very important, because that way, when people know that you genuinely care for them, then it becomes easy for you to place a demand on them. It's like your debit and credit. If you're not credited your account, you can't make a debit from it. So emotionally, if you've not credited the people you lead with care, with love, with some form of dedication and concern for them, then you can't keep making debits from them, asking them to do this, send this stuff to me, send this job to me. Very soon, you'll be emotionally bankrupt and you'll not be able to make a debit from them.
Wow. Wow, thank you very much, sir. Emotional intelligence, the power of emotional intelligence, very necessary in today's world. Thank you very much. We want to talk about the initiatives, people can take to improve their leadership skills. So on this podcast, we have as our audience, as young as people of 12 years old that listen to this podcast, up to the age of people of 40 years old and 50 listening to this podcast, right? So yes, it's a podcast geared towards teenagers, but our research and our analytics has shown that a lot of people are actually listening, because it is really helping their lives, and maybe some of the skills that they have not exactly paid attention to while they were young, they are now learning about it. So I want you to address these various age groups, right? What are the initiatives that these people can take to grow their leadership skills? Do they have to join an organization? Do they have to join an association? Do they have to even set up an organization so that they can prove that they are leaders? What exactly do they need to do?
Okay, so I'll start from teenagers, a group of people I'm quite passionate about. I'll say that for teenagers listening to this podcast, you can easily grow your leadership skills by taking the lead where you are. By that I mean that where do you find yourself on a daily? You find yourself at home, you find yourself in school, and if you're a faith-based person, you find yourself in church or at a mosque. So you need to start taking the lead where you are. Start from the home. I always like to ask, what are you responsible for where you live? I know that a lot of young people live in homes today with a very good support system. There's the drivers, there's the housekeeper, and all of that, which is fantastic. Okay, but the support system is really to help your parents and not to deny you the opportunity to grow in your leadership. So in my house, I have a pet. I keep a parrot, and I tell my son that he is directly responsible for that parrot. So he feeds the parrot, he provides water for the parrot, he takes care of the parrot. And I do that to challenge him to learn leadership from an early age, to be responsible, to learn the fabrics of being a responsible leader from an early age. So for teenagers, I would say that you should start from there, start from home. Even if you have a great support system, volunteer to do something at home. Be the one in charge of something. Okay, it can be as little as closing the door at night, but start learning to take the lead from where you are. Another way for young people to grow their leadership is to volunteer, to be part of something, be a part of a project. There's a project in school, there's a community project, they're cleaning up an environment, be part of it. Don't be an onlooker, okay? Don't just watch things happen. What leaders do is that instinctively they make things happen. They are part of the process. So be part of the process. What are you doing in school? Don't tell me you just go to school, do your academic work and leave. No, volunteer to be part of something. Be a part of the school representative council. Volunteer to go to the orphanage. Just be part of it, because this is how you begin to learn to think about others, have a heart for other people, and help other people grow. So generally speaking, apart from teenagers, growing your leadership, I would say that generally we have to look for opportunities that will give us a platform to grow. Most people shy away from leadership because leadership is not easy. It's not an easy game. It takes a lot of responsibility. It takes a lot of commitment. But you see, you can only grow. It's like trying to learn how to drive without driving. You can only grow in your leadership game when you get involved. So, for example, if you're in the corporate world, you're working and you ask yourself, how can I grow in my leadership journey? I'm going to say to you that be willing to get involved. Lead, as it might be a small project within your department. Don't be afraid. And the question always comes, who's going to lead? Who is going to be in charge of this? Most people want to step back, but it's by stepping up and taking that opportunity, that's how you would begin to grow in your leadership. Today, you might be leading 2 people, and then you take up another opportunity, and it's when people see you lead in those small situations and scenarios, that they will give you bigger opportunities and bigger platforms. Okay, so I'm just going to challenge you to take those opportunities, to take the lead, and that way you'll be able to grow from one level of leadership to a bigger level.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. This has really been enriching. Thank you very much for the counsel. Let's talk a little bit about yourself now. What were the mistakes that you made, growing up as a leader? What were the things that you would have seen and say, oh, these were the mistakes that I probably would not advise, other people to make growing up, So can you share with us?
Yeah, I'm very happy to. So because I'm a self-driven leader, I'm self-motivated. I don't need, in fact, I hate the idea of a committee. Whenever I hear that we need a committee to get things done, I hate the idea, because I think that committees don't make things happen. Individuals, yes, make things happen, even though they have to work with others. So I think that for me, part of the challenges I face, because I'm self-motivated, I want to get things done, I want to be on the move, is not being able to identify that I may have some strengths and I may have the skill set, but like John Maxwell says, one is too small a number to make a difference. So growing as a leader, I had that challenge, wanting to just go all the way and do it myself. And what I experienced then was burnout, because again, you really can't do everything yourself. You always need other people. You always need the skill set. You always need the ideas of other people on the team. So I did experience burnout. I did experience, and sometimes when you try to do it all by yourself, the impression you give your team members is that they are not needed. So yes, that's what I had to learn very early, that you have to work as a team. They say teamwork makes the dream work. So you need to be able to really engage others and work together with other people.
Wow. This while you were sharing this, what came to my mind was, the issue of schools, right? So I could remember that, in secondary schools, and perhaps maybe more of secondary schools, I wouldn't say universities, but more of secondary schools, you are told that, people are your competitors, right? Your classmates are your competitors, so don't work with them. You want to try to get everything done to favor yourself. But the real life actually teaches that you actually need to collaborate with people to be able to win, and not work separately from them. And I think this is also very important. It's exactly what you shared, that teamwork is essential. And that is something I myself am even struggling with at this moment, because when you have a lot of energy that you want to put into work, and sometimes if you have the perfectionist tendencies that, okay, I am probably the one who can do this the best way, it might also prevent you from working with a team. But like you've been re-emphasizing that one cannot get the job done like a team can. So thank you very much for sharing that, sir. Just two other questions, and we will wrap up this podcast today. So what books, precisely, if you could mention maybe like 3 to 5 books, movies, or people that have impacted your leadership abilities, please share with us.
Okay, so the number one person that has impacted my leadership journey is John Maxwell. I've been reading John Maxwell books right from my early years as a teenager, and now I'm part of the John Maxwell company. I'm part of the John Maxwell Leadership Foundation. I coordinate one of the John Maxwell programs in Nigeria called the Beyond Success program. So in terms of books, most of the books I would recommend will be John Maxwell books. Developing the Leader Within You is it's an awesome book for anybody who wants to develop their leadership potential, because it will help you unpack where you are as a leader and what you need to do to grow and to develop yourself. So definitely I would recommend that. I would also recommend the 15 Laws of Good another book written by John Maxwell. Leaders must learn to grow and become better. So yes, that's a great book to read. I would also recommend The Leader's Greatest Return. The Leader's Greatest Return. This is another John Maxwell book that would, if you're a leader that has grown over the years in your leadership journey, maybe now you're a senior manager, or you're on that level, then you want to, or you're a business owner and you need to start grooming other people. I think The Leader's Greatest Return, who talks about people development, is a great book to read. I must also mention that I've written a leadership book for young people, for teenagers, titled Senior Gbenga. Now you know how
Senior Gbenga. Okay.
Yeah. You know how it is in secondary school when, I don't know if it happens now, but back then they call you senior.
Okay? Yes, I recall.
That was my name in school, Senior Gbenga. And because I had the opportunity to lead in school, when I left school, I compiled my leadership experience, basically helping young people understand how they can unpack leadership and how they can start taking the lead even though they are young. So it's a great read for a young person. Yes, and I think it will be very helpful.
Where can we get this, sir?
Soft copies are available on Okada Books.
Okay.
It's also available at Bible Wonderland, in Lagos.
Okay. Do we have hard copies? Is that the one available at the Bible Wonderland?
Correct. Hard copy available at Bible Wonderland.
Okay. Awesome. I'll try to get one. Lastly, we want to talk about certifications or courses people can take to also improve their knowledge. I don't know if you even have some that can really help we young ones to become certified in leadership. Because aside listening to this podcast and reading books, is also the need to also get certified, and that means that you're also taking some assessments, perhaps even being put in an instance where you lead a project too. Do you have any courses that you yourself have championed, or do you have any certification online that you recommend?
So for young people, and by that I'm talking about teenagers or youth, I would recommend the I Lead leadership program. It's a leadership curriculum developed by the John Maxwell Leadership Foundation. It takes you through 16 values, and it's an amazing program for young people. It's a free program. You get a certificate at the end of that program. I remember during the heat of the pandemic in 2020, I ran maybe about 6 different online sessions using that curriculum, and it was an amazing time helping young people learn about leadership using that program. So it's something I would recommend any day for any teenager to be part of the I Choose. It's called the I Choose curriculum, but the program is called I Lead. Yes, that curriculum. It's such an amazing leadership curriculum for young people. For the older audience, there are loads of leadership programs, but in terms of what I'm exposed to, or programs I've been part of, developing the leader within you is a John Maxwell leadership program that is very useful for you. If you're a startup leader or you're an experienced leader, but you just want to grow your leadership skills, that's a very good program to be part of. You also get a certificate, for that. There's also the 15 Laws of Growth. It's also a great program to learn about how you can grow in your leadership journey. There's also the Beyond Success program, which is also a leadership curriculum with 7 modules. That's also very helpful. So there are lots of leadership programs, especially under the John Maxwell Leadership Enterprise. As you may know, John Maxwell is regarded as the foremost thought leader when it comes to leadership. So under his enterprise, there are lots of programs that you can enroll for.
Wow, Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to really preach this I Lead Leadership program. Do you have a website that we could access so people can take this course?
Yeah, so if you go to our Instagram page at Teens Impact, at Teens Impact, and you send us a DM, and we do this program even for schools, for organizations. So if you want us to organize a program for your organization or for a group of teenagers that you mentor, just send us a DM on our Instagram page at Teens Impact, and we'll be in touch.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Gbenga Samuel, we cannot thank you enough. This has really been enriching. Thank you very much, sir, for coming around. Thank you for, even, giving us listening ears, and I'm willing to be part of the growth of other people. God bless you very much. And we have come to the end of today's podcast. I hope you have enjoyed today's session. Till another time, stay blessed. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. If you have been blessed by this topic, please share with your friends and also drop reviews on the community page or our email. You can also share with us burdens on your heart or topics you would want us to talk about. Feel free to give to promote the spread of this podcast by partnering with us on our website at allthingsdenpodcast.disha.page. Thank you for your constant support. See you next week.